My mother-in-law called my 12-year-old the idiot child for 3 years. The 8-minute compilation I played ended everything. My mother-in-law, Ruth, had always treated my daughter Jenny differently from her biological grandchildren. Jenny was 12 when I married her son Colin, and Ruth made it clear from day one that Jenny wasn't real family. She'd buy expensive gifts for Colin's sister's kids and get Jenny dollar store junk. When Jenny would thank her politely, Ruth would say, "Well, you should be grateful for anything. You're lucky Colin even lets you live in his house." It wasn't Colin's house. I'd bought it before we met, but Ruth kept telling everyone that Colin had rescued me and my baggage from poverty. The idiot incident happened at Ruth's 70th birthday party. Jenny had spent weeks making a scrapbook filled with family photos and handwritten notes about favorite memories. When Jenny gave it to her, Ruth flipped through it in front of everyone and said, "This is what you got me? A bunch of old pictures glued to paper?" Then she held up a gift from her other grandchild, a store-bought jewelry box, and said, "Now this is a real present, from a real grandchild with a functioning brain." Jenny tried to explain that she'd made it herself because she thought it would mean more. Ruth laughed and said, "Only an idiot would think trash means more than something with actual value. But I guess that's what happens when you come from broken homes. The stupidity gets passed down." She actually used the word idiot 3 more times that night, always directed at Jenny. The idiot child forgot to push in her chair. Someone should teach the idiot proper table manners. Maybe the idiot should eat in the kitchen with the little kids where she belongs. Colin just sat there. When I confronted him later, he said his mother was from a different generation and didn't mean anything by it. "She's just not used to stepkids," he said. "Give her time to adjust." It had been 3 years. Ruth's cruelty escalated after that. She'd accidentally forget to set a place for Jenny at family dinners. She planned grandkid outings when Jenny had school events, so she couldn't come. She started a college fund for her real grandchildren and made sure Jenny knew she wasn't included. "College would be wasted on someone with your limited capacity," she told Jenny. "Trade school might be more your speed. Or maybe just marry rich like your mother did." She said this at Thanksgiving with 20 people listening. Colin said I was being too sensitive. Then I found out something interesting. Colin's ex-wife, Lindsay, reached out to me. She'd heard through mutual friends how Ruth was treating Jenny. "She did the same thing to my nephew when Colin and I were fostering him," Lindsay said. "Called him stupid, worthless, not a real family. Colin never stood up to her. It's why I left." Lindsay had documented everything back then. She still had emails where Ruth admitted she was trying to drive the foster child away because he wasn't blood. She had recordings of Ruth screaming that Lindsay was infertile trash and should be grateful Colin hadn't dumped her for a real woman who could give him real children. She even had a letter Ruth wrote to Colin, saying Lindsay's nephew was probably brain damaged, and they should send him back before he infected their future real children with his stupidity. Lindsay gave me everything, but I wasn't done. I started reaching out to other people in Ruth's life. Her younger sister Janet confessed that Ruth had tormented her throughout childhood, calling her the idiot sister and telling everyone Janet was adopted because their parents were embarrassed by her. She wasn't adopted. Ruth's former best friend Amy told me Ruth had ended their 40-year friendship when Amy's daughter married a man with kids from a previous relationship. Ruth had called the stepchildren parasites and said Amy was enabling the destruction of traditional families. I compiled everything into a presentation. Every email, every recording, every witness statement. Then I waited for the perfect moment. It came at the Christmas party. Ruth was there playing the perfect grandmother, telling Colin's boss how wonderful it was to have such a beautiful family. That's when I asked if I could share a holiday video. I connected my phone to the venue's AV system and played Ruth's greatest hits. Her voice filled the room, calling Jenny an idiot, calling stepchildren parasites, bragging about breaking children, saying Colin should be grateful she raised him to know the difference between real family and fake trash. The compilation was 8 minutes long. The room was dead silent except for Ruth's recorded voice explaining how she was protecting her real grandchildren from contamination by worthless step-siblings. Colin's boss looked horrified. Colin tried to claim the recordings were fake, but then Lindsay walked in. Full story on channel. Link below.